What is up, guys? NYKia31 here, playing and talking a little Madden 16. I'm going to be using Draft Champions here as my backdrop. You're going to see me draft my Draft Champions team and play a game. And we're going to talk about the state of Madden 16, I guess. NFL season. We're 5 weeks into the NFL season. The game's been out. Seeing how it's mid-October, the game came out in what, late August. So about 2 months. We know what the game's about now if you've been playing it a lot or playing it at all. Games are out long enough that we pretty much know what the strengths of the game and weaknesses of the game are, the pros and the cons, and all that good stuff. So I kind of want to take stock of where we stand with the game right now. I also have a link in the description to Virtual Footballer's video that he did this evening. He kind of thinks along the same lines as I do on some things. And I want to start out actually by talking about this so called sim community. Just very briefly, I want to touch on the sim community. Now, I'm not going to tell you what to think, what to do. I'm not going to try to twist your arm and get you to agree with me. But I will pose just a couple of questions. And this is mainly directed to the Twitter warriors, these people who spend more time talking about EA and Madden than the so called Madden fanboys do. Every day, hours upon hours of tweets about Madden 16 and acting as if they're plotting the next March on Selma over this video game. And really, my question is, what in hell do you guys think you're accomplishing? Do you really think that when you pound on that keyboard with cap locks on and go on profane laced tirades and send that stuff to Clint and Rex that you're not either going straight to mute or block? Do you really think that that's being taken seriously? Do you not see that the people that get their attention are people that are able to talk sensibly and articulate points about the sport and offer solutions to problems that are in the game that are based in football logic and football sense? And I'm not saying that you have to talk positively about the game. You can be like someone like Gerald Six. Jaros and I, we agree on some aspects of Madden, but I'm certain we disagree on a whole heck of a lot more. But he gets my respect because he's able to come from a articulate, sensible, thought out place, as opposed to behaving like you're some Ritalin addicted madman pounding away in a dark room dressed in a diaper. It's really not a good look. It's not a good look at all. You're not getting EA's attention. You're just going to get ignored. You're going to be put in the mute or blocked file pretty much instantaneously. They'll continue to interact with people like myself and the game changers and whatnot, and people who know how to tweet like they have a brain in their head. You're not getting anyone at 2K's attention. They're not in the game, won't be in the game. They're content to give us a excellent basketball game. And if you think that you're going to influence people and sway them away from the game, you're sadly mistaken. During the time I was playing my league game yesterday evening, there was over 12,000 people playing online. The two online leagues that I'm a part of are both full, and there's people that are on standby wanting to get in. That is simply the reality of the situation. So, enough of that, and on to the state of the game. Now, not all is rosy here. Let me get to the primary annoyances. I am absolutely done with the patch culture. I'm done with it. I am so sick of patches that I could just vomit. Seriously, we are in mid-October and we are waiting on a second patch to fix issues with connected franchise as well as other gameplay issues. And I'm just hoping and praying that in the online connected franchises that I'm in, that we don't have to reboot after all this, or we don't hit the off season before this patch drops. We know it's coming. We just have no idea when, and we don't really know what exactly it's going to contain. And that really bothers me. I'm getting tired of these games releasing unfinished. Like, to me, a patch should be something that should be intended to or designed to polish things, smooth out rough edges, stuff like that. Tweak minor things with the game's internal sliders and what have you. We shouldn't need patches in order to have game modes function. There's absolutely no reason why a game should ever ship, and there are large chunks of the game that are unplayable. There are people who don't want to play Draft Champions or don't have the time to commit to an online league. They just want to kick it in their man cave in their leisure time with their favorite team or a team that has a favorite player of theirs and go through franchise mode. And you're doing those people a disservice. Player interactions, I feel, have improved a lot. I don't think the game gets quite enough credit for that. If you don't believe me, pop in Madden 15. I did that and I had to turn the game off. The receiver defender action alone separates this game greatly from the previous versions. I said, a month and a half ago when I did my review of the game that they're the best that we've seen in a football video game, and I stand by that. And no, I'm not going to pop in All Pro Football 2K8 and do a comparison. There's no point. What the game needs now is for everyone else in the field to get that same kind of love. There's still noticeable room for improvement in the receiver defender interactions, tightening up the airspace between the bodies and the ball, for example, so that there's not as much of a noticeable shift to initiate those actions. And also, when you go into replay mode, you'll see sometimes that there's airspace between the ball and the hand of the receiver or the body of the receiver. Get that tightened up to make it more seamless looking. But also the offensive and defensive linemen, they need that same type of attention. And so do defenders in underneath zone coverage. I've been going, actually me, Grafster, DSK, a couple of people have been interacting back and forth with Rex and Clint as far as the need to modernize these zone coverage spot drops. We got to get away from these landmark zone coverage drops and start seeing more man matching principles within these zone coverages. I should not have to do a series of adjustments to a particular zone coverage to match a four verse concept, which really isn't that complicated to do. If you look at how four verse is executed in the real world, most of the time, unless there's a bust or there's a mismatch somewhere, most of the time a four verts concept is completed if it's thrown wide, it's completed with a back shoulder throw or in a tight space between an underneath defender and a safety. You don't see these acres of grass between receiver and defender unless there's a mistake, a mental breakdown, or a physical mismatch. It just doesn't happen. Usually the ball has to get out of there quick and on a rope before those seams close. Now, I'm sure I'm missing some things, but those are my biggies. And yet with those deficiencies, I'm still having a blast playing this game. This is a game that gives me a lot of mechanics to work with to do what I want to do, and having a blast doing it. Don't you dare touch these passing mechanics. The passing mechanics are wonderful. Just find a way to incorporate a manual pump fake to an individual receiver as opposed to me having to click the left stick to do a pump fake. This guy run commits. Why do people do this? But anyhow, I believe that the game has just about all the mechanics it needs from a gameplay standpoint. It's now time to just really button up on that player movement, really tighten that up, get these false steps out of there, which you'll see most often appear in man coverage, and eliminate these, clumps that occur due to the physics. It's nice that we have an under center running game back. Madden 15, the physics basically made the running game a pistol and shotgun affair. Operating from under center was really difficult. Yet, it can also still be better. Still not there yet. So, that is my State of Madden 16 address, if you will. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to y'all later. Peace.